Welcome to my presentation. This is Mitch. We're going to be talking about the 4 keys to fitness for absolutely everyone. I'm the fitness supervisor here at Mountain Meadows, and of course this slide is just an excuse to show you this picture and also to let you know what we're going to be talking about today, which is of course the 4 keys to fitness for absolutely everyone. And within that purview, there's going to be a big focus on the basics. Now, if you've got a lot of experience in the fitness center or with exercise in general, you might be a little bummed out. After all, you know the basics, right? You've been doing this for a while, you know what you're doing. But it turns out that the basics really apply to everyone. And we're going to be talking about how empowering that is and how important that is to realize as we go on today. So before we get any further, I'll let you know that there are a couple questions that I have to answer at the end of the presentation. And I really want everyone to come away with 1 or 2 things that you can use right away to help you get fitter and just feel better about fitness and the whole process and your possibilities. That's what we really want out of all of this. We want to start by just telling you a quick story. When I first started out as a trainer, I had a friend named Jose, and Jose worked with a lot of high-level high school athletes, including one girl that he had who was going to Notre Dame to play soccer. She got a scholarship, and this was, the Notre Dame, the Golden Dome, Fighting Irish, the whole 9 yards, and Jose had something from them. He had the training program that their strength and conditioning program wrote for his athlete to get ready to play soccer there. And that, to me, at that time, I was a young trainer, only been doing it a few years. That, to me, was like a pile of gold. I figured that strength and conditioning program knew things that I could never know. They had all these protocols that they would use, all these arrangements, these different styles of programming, different exercises, all sorts of things like that. And I mean, to me, that was like the Holy Grail. It was like Jose had a secret album recorded by the Beatles, and he's the only one that had it. And it was too complex and detailed for me to know, but he was going to let me look at it, and I was going to study this until I knew it inside and out. I was very excited, very excited. So this is an actual picture of me and Jose. Jose is in the beige coat, dropping, letting me see the program that they had written, and he gave it to me, and I was thrilled. And I sat down and I opened the folder, and this is what I thought was going to happen to my mind. I thought it was going to explode. I was going to see Elvis's ghost when I took a look at the program, but I opened my eyes, I took a look. And what I actually saw was something that looked exactly like the programs I was already writing for my clients. It was full of the basics. It was mobility work, strength work, power work, full of compound movements, interval training, some steady state cardio, just plain old regular stuff, the basics. And then my brain actually did this, because it was one of the most impactful moments of my whole career, because I realized beyond a shadow of a doubt what really mattered at that point, and it was the basics. And think about any discipline. Think about being a chef or a piano player. If you're a chef, the best chef in the world can grill a steak perfectly. A great piano player can play a C major scale with just incredible dexterity and speed. And these aren't complicated things. They just do them very well. And this is so empowering, because what it really means is that getting fit, getting fitter, getting healthier, achieving these things, you don't need anything fancy. You don't need a fancy program or to do fancy exercises or to do something complex. It's accessible to everyone. You just need to know the basics, because when it comes down to it, the basics are what gets you real, long-lasting results. The kind of results that make a tangible difference in your life, how you feel, and what you can do. And I think this is so empowering whether you're involved in a fitness program now or you're looking to get involved in one in the future, just knowing that you don't have to do anything crazy to get some really, really great life-altering results. So let's talk about the 4 keys. Number 1 is consistency. And nothing works without consistency. And let me tell you another story. A million years ago, I took Taekwondo, and one day our instructor took us down to the locker room. And in the locker room, there was a leaky faucet. And under that faucet, there was a bucket. And the bucket was mostly filled with water. It was pretty full. And there's just drips every 20, 30 seconds. A drip into the bucket. Then another drip into the bucket. Then another drip into the bucket. And you get the idea. And our instructor looks at us and he says, every time you come in to train, you're putting one more drop in your bucket. And if you come in and you're consistent, then soon you're going to have a full bucket. And that was a really powerful moment for me. And the reason for this is that our body does not want to change. Everything our body does is designed for efficiency in that moment. That's because it's hardwired for survival above all else. And survival is a moment-to-moment thing. The energy it takes to change can be better used to keep its eye open for that Tyrannosaurus Rex right around the corner, like this guy. He's going to start running in a second. I hope his body's not trying to change at that moment. Our body is just hardwired to maintain where it is so it can better survive. And that's just the way it is. And what that means is that even one great workout's not really going to change your body all that much. But when you do exercise, what you're effectively doing is telling your body what you want it to do. You want it to be able to lift something a little heavier. You want to be able to move a little better. You want to be able to go a little longer or something like that. And if you tell your body these kinds of things often enough, it will listen and it will improve. And these things happen faster than you think. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen quicker than you might think if you are consistent. And that is the key to the whole thing. You just have to know this. Consistency means different things to different people. You have to figure out what's going to work for you. And to do that, remember our motto. The most important thing you can get from a workout is the desire for another one. So whenever you're trying to determine what you're going to do or how often, just remember this. What you want to do when you're done with a workout is feel like you want another workout, okay? Very important. So of the 4 keys, number 1 is consistency. Number 2, work hard. Now I know that can sound scary, but like consistency, this means different things to different people. And most of the time, hard work just means working a tiny little bit harder than you're used to working. So that means if you haven't even started an exercise program, just coming down to the fitness center and doing something would qualify. Lift a little more weight, go a little longer, a little faster, something like that. It doesn't have to be crazy, and it shouldn't be crazy. And you can also think about this in terms of your comfort zone. So you want to work here. You want to work just past your comfort zone. You do not need to work here, okay? But the fun thing is that if you do work here and you're consciously pushing that comfort zone little by little, you're going to just be rocketed ahead and you're going to be back here before you know it. You're going to be at that point because you'll move if you're consistent and you're working hard with this kind of mindset, you're going to make some really nice changes. And remember our motto, the most important thing you can get from a workout is a desire for another one. So just like how keeping that in mind is going to help you determine what consistency means to you, it'll also help you determine how hard you should work, okay? And as a side note, hard work includes keeping your posture in mind no matter what. If you want one thing to help you improve your chronic pain, balance, help your strength, reduce stress, give you more energy, and just get moving better, posture is the thing that's going to do all of this. Okay, so keep that in mind. So we have consistency, we have work hard, and number 3, work on your mobility, your strength, and your cardio. Now there are a bunch of ways you can do this, and there are ways you can do this all at the same time to some extent, which is really great. It's actually the way we operate most of our classes. But think of it like this. How well do you move? That's your mobility. How well can you perform your daily tasks? That's your strength. And how's your endurance? That's your cardio. Now, there's a lot of gray area. It's not quite this black and white. There's a lot of carryover from thing to thing, but this is a good way to kind of think of what each thing is helping you do, kind of in a very general sense. And like I said, there are ways where you can work all of this at the same time. And I like circuit training. I think circuit training is great. This is what we do in our classes. What circuit training is when you do a series of exercises in order, then you rest, and then you repeat the circuit. So, here's an example. You do 10 squats, 10 push-ups, 10 rows, 10 bird dogs, rest about 60 seconds or so, and repeat it 3 times. So this is just an example. Circuits can be more exercises, fewer exercises. It doesn't have to be these exercises. It can be anything. It's just the idea of how you're structuring that. And the way this works, all those physical qualities at the same time is like this. If you're using good form and during your resistance training, then you are going to improve your mobility. If you're pushing the weight you're using, again, just a little bit at a time, using good form, then you're working on your strength. And if you're just working as hard as you can in general, then you're going to be working on your cardio. So all of this gets worked just as you're doing circuit training. And I like to also point this out, why circuit training is so efficient. And that's because resistance training, again, assuming good form, good posture, and those kinds of things, that's going to improve your mobility and your cardio along with strength. If all you're doing is cardio, for the most part, that's not going to improve your strength or mobility. Okay, there are exceptions to that, and it is very individual, but this is in a general sense, this is kind of what's going on there. Okay, so the 4 keys: consistency, work hard, work on your mobility, strength, and cardio. Number 4, ask questions. Okay, it's easy for me to, for any of us, we all have things that we're good at that kind of come second nature to us because we've been working with it for so long. I've been doing this for a while, so I think about this kind of thing all the time. So if I say something like, you need to do hip dominant and knee dominant single leg exercises and your transverse frontal and sagittal planes, I know what I'm talking about. I certainly don't think anyone else does, and you don't have to. But what I'm trying to say is that if I say something that doesn't make sense or you need clarification, please ask about it. The more you understand why you're doing something or what you're doing or the purpose behind it, the more you're going to be able to get out of it. Okay, and that's really important. The more you can get, the more you understand things and you know what they're trying to do for you, your results are just going to really get amplified from there. A great quote I heard from a very smart person who once said that he doesn't need to know all the answers. He just needs to know who to ask. And I've lived by that, and I think it's pretty great. And just some questions that might have come up just during this talk. What does consistency mean for you? Not for anyone else, but for you specifically. What does work hard mean for you specifically? What are some of the best ways for you specifically to work through pain? What's the difference between intervals and steady state cardio? Whatever. I mean, any of these questions you can ask, or anything else that pops up in your head if there's something that you're not quite sure about. Okay, so now let's go over the programs we have here at Mountain Meadows that can help you get fitter and help you along in your fitness journey, as the case may be. So number 1, if you haven't come down here yet, if you haven't talked to me one-on-one, let's do that to start everything. And that's an orientation, and that's where I can show you how to learn to use the equipment. We can talk about any injuries you have. We can talk about what you want to do, working on your strength, mobility, or whatever else. If you want to know what class or program is best for you, we can talk about that. And we're going to talk about the different classes and programs in just a minute. And if you just want to see pictures of my dogs and cat, that is awesome. There they are. They are the sweetest things ever. I have hundreds more pictures, and I would love to show you each and every one of them, including some videos as well. So come on down. So to schedule your orientation, you can email me here, you can call me, you can just come on by the fitness center, say hello, and we'll schedule a time then. If I can do it right then, I will. If not, it's always better to make an appointment. But if I can do it right then, I will. If not, then we'll make an appointment and we'll get you going. And let's talk about our classes. I want to say, we talked about circuit training earlier. All our main exercises, our main exercise classes use circuit training. So I just want to let you know that. We have our osteo chair class, which we do Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 10 to 11 in the Rogue Room. And it is our most popular class. It's a great class. It's a great choice if you're just starting a fitness routine, if you feel like you're losing strength and mobility, if you're recovering from an injury or a surgery, something like that. It's a very good, effective, low-impact workout. And even though it's called a chair class, we do stand up. It's not just in the chair the whole time. We do seated and standing exercises, and we move around a bit. And it helps strength, balance, flexibility, mobility. We work on all those things in this class. And it is appropriate for all fitness levels. On Wednesdays in the fitness center, we have a class called Circuit Training, and that features a pretty wide variety of full body exercises and workouts focusing on good posture, correct form. It's a lot of fun, a really good group. All the exercises in this class are standing, so keep that in mind. And we use a variety of movement patterns and muscle groups, all done in a circuit format. And that's Wednesdays from 10 to 10:45 in the fitness center. On Fridays from 10 to 10:45 in the Rogue Room, we do our cardio dance. And sometimes it's really just fun to forget about what you should do and form and all that and just dance. So we just put on some music, we dance around, and it's just great. There's no right or wrong. You just dance, move, get your heart rate up a little bit, and just have fun. And that's all it is. It's just it's a very fun group and a very fun class. And that's, again, Fridays in the Rogue Room. On Wednesdays, we do our meditation class. And this is where we exercise our mind and our spirit. And we do that on Wednesdays from 11 to noon in the Cascade Room. We always start with a 20-minute guided meditation, and that's followed by a wide open discussion. When I say wide open, I really mean it. It can take all sorts of directions. And there's been a lot of funny things said. There's been a lot of very powerful and emotional things said in that class. It's just great. And it's just a great way to stop the busyness and the stress of our lives for just that hour and just practice some self-compassion and care. It's great. Just stop on by and it's really wonderful. So let's talk about some of the other programs that we offer mainly on our residence website. So everyone who's watching this has access to the residence website. In fact, that's probably where you're watching this video, is on the blog. This is what the homepage of the residence website looks like. And if you hover over the fitness program heading, then you'll see that pop up. Again, if you're here, you probably know this already, but it's good to go over it. The first thing we'll talk about is the blog. And again, this is probably where you're watching this anyway, but right now the blog is well over 90 posts, and it features videos and demonstrations on fitness topics such as these: general exercise, strength training, injuries, mindset, posture, mobility, some different workouts. This is what it looks like. You can look through all our posts by category. So if you want to know something about injuries or mindset or whatever, you just click on that category and all the posts that are about that will come up. Or you can just look at it chronologically by scrolling down. And that's the blog. There's a lot on there. And if you have any questions about something that you want to see on the blog that's not there or whatever, just let me know and I'll write a post on it. Now, the exercise programs that we offer on the website and other places other than the classes, the first is the daily 10-minute workout. And Tuesday through Saturday on the whiteboard in the fitness center, I write it up. It's one of the first things I do when I come in. If you're busy, if you don't want to spend too much time in the fitness center, if you want to get a quick workout in before dinner, but most importantly, I think if you just want to start building the habit of doing something and just coming down for 10 minutes to start with, I think it can be just a great entry to start building a consistent more consistent habit for you. There's all sorts of different exercises up here. If you don't know what one of them is, just please ask. I'd love to walk you through some of these. Next, we have our Anybody Fitness program. This is on the residence website, and it's our complete exercise program designed specifically for Mountain Meadows residents of nearly all fitness levels. It's designed to work your mobility, your strength, your cardio, and it includes a complete exercise program and demonstration videos for every single exercise in the program. And simply watch the intro video, download your workouts so you can get started. Of course, if you need any help with it, if you want me to help you kind of decipher some of the things you might not understand, please come on down, set up a time, send me an email, ask me, and we'll go over the whole thing. We'll start to finish, whatever you need. This is a great program, and it can be very helpful for people if you use it. I believe there's 9 months of possible programming here, so it'll really take you pretty far if you work it. We also have our Get Stronger program, and this program is similar, but it's much more customizable and a little more advanced. So if you are a resident who wants to improve specifically your strength and mobility, this program includes adjustable workout templates. So each exercises are grouped into categories, and you just pick an exercise from a category. Again, if you don't know kind of which exercise is best for you, that is exactly what I'm here for. I'd love to help you design the perfect workout for you. And again, demonstration videos for every single exercise in the program. And if you have any questions concerning which Mountain Meadows classes or programs are right for you, please ask. That's exactly what my job is. That's exactly why I'm here. I want to help you get the most out of our program here. So I do have a couple of questions that were asked during our seminar, and let's go over those. So at the end of the talk, there were a couple questions that I want to put on this video so you can hear them. One was, earlier in the talk, I mentioned that working on your cardio does not improve your strength. And why is that, and can I explain that further? And the main reason is when you're doing cardio, and the way most people do cardio is they do what's called steady state cardio, where you're doing something for 10, 15, 20 minutes, something like that, maybe even a little bit longer. When you're doing that, you're working more endurance. The muscle fibers that you're using for that type of an activity are not muscle fibers that are used for strength activities, okay? So it doesn't really translate. When you're working on strength and you're trying to improve your strength, it's done in much shorter intervals to work on those particular muscle fibers, and you do that with resistance training exercises and pushing the load that you're doing. You're lifting a little bit more weight over a period of time. And again, remember that comfort zone. It's like, if this is your comfort zone, we want to lift this much more than our comfort zone, not out here, okay? That's why I think a lot of people kind of misunderstand what strength training is, because they think they have to lift so much weight. That's not really the case. You just got to go a little bit consistently, okay? Again, it's that consistency that really matters with strength training. But cardio does not really work on your strength. But if you do push your strength and you do sets where you're really pushing that, again, within reason, at the end of those sets, you're going to be out of breath. You're going to be breathing heavy. That means your cardio is working, okay? And that's how you work on multiple things at the same time, okay? The strength done with good form helps your mobility, and pushing, again, just that appropriate amount works on your cardio, okay? It all can happen at once, very efficiently, and with lots of fun. There was another question asked about working through pain. I do mention that in the talk. This is a very individual thing. The person that asked this question had some knee pain, and they weren't able to do some of the things that we were doing in the chair class. Pain is such an individual issue that it's really hard to answer, how should you work through pain, or how should you work through pain? Because it's all different. Why does one person have pain? Why does another person have pain? I think there are some general things that we can take to that. Whether, how to apply it to you is the issue. So why are you having pain? Is it an issue with the form that you're using for an exercise? A lot of times when people are doing an exercise, if they're not using good form, pain will result. You correct the form, the pain goes away. A lot of times, sometimes with pain, there's something structurally wrong. Maybe there's an actual injury of some sort. Maybe there is a limited amount of mobility, and by doing an exercise, you're putting yourself into a weird position because your mobility is not great. Maybe your strength is not great, so you're not able to hold a position again during an exercise. The key is to figure out why you're having that pain, and then deal with it. And that can be done, you have to kind of piece it together. If you can't figure it out, you can come down and talk to me. If I can't figure it out, we'll figure, you can talk to a doctor, a physical therapist, or something like that. It's a very individual thing, but the first thing is, if you have pain doing an exercise, don't do it. Stop. Don't push through pain, okay? If it's a form thing, like I said, you can kind of fix it. If you can't figure out why you're having that pain, find someone who can help you answer that question before you do anything else, okay? Don't push through pain. That's number one. Number two, what kind of pain is it? If it's joint pain, boom, that's red flag. Joint pain generally is a sharp, stabbing kind of a pain. And these are generalities, but this is generally the way it is. Joint pain is kind of a sharp pain. If it's muscle pain or discomfort, that tends to be more of a dull, kind of throbbing pain, okay? Now, when you're doing an exercise that's really focused on a specific muscle, are you confusing pain with discomfort? This is a very individual thing. Some people feel things in different ways, okay? So, again, talk to someone and help try to figure out why you're having this kind of pain, and then you can kind of piece it together. I did do a blog post that I will link to, which goes over the whole sequence of things that I look for when people say I'm having pain with this exercise. There's a whole sequence of things that I do to help them try to figure out why they're having that pain. And I'm going to link to that. I call it the discovery progression. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing here. You can see that in the post. But I think that can also be very helpful for people to at least try to figure it out on their own if someone else to ask a question isn't available. But of course, like number 4, ask questions. If you don't know the answer, ask a question. Ask me. If I can't answer it, then we'll talk about who you can ask that can help you answer it. But short answer is try to figure out why you're having the pain. If you can't figure it out, ask someone, and do not work through pain, okay? If you're doing something that hurts, you're not, at very minimum, you're not doing it right, which means you're not getting the benefit of the exercise anyway, so you might as well stop, okay? That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is you're actually hurting yourself, which we certainly don't want. I just want to thank you all for watching. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. I'd love to be able to help you out with anything you have going on. And I will talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.